important things that can make us, thank you, so that we can be able to understand. We are exchanging experiences. We are exchanging, when you ask a simple question, for example, about emotional intelligence, or when you say a word, there's somebody who's going to get excited, somebody who's going to get an insight out of what you have said. So we are very happy. We are very cheerful. Me, I am very happy that I have you as my audience. I totally appreciate you for creating time. My name, as you heard, is Richard J. Magoma. I am a HR professional. I am a trainer. I do team building and many other things. I also train and mentor people on public speaking so that you do not miss those wonderful opportunities that want you to be very courageous, very confident in what you are doing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to look at how we understand emotional intelligence. It has become a very popular topic that people are interested in, employees are interested in, employers are interested in. Why are employers interested in this topic? Why are employees interested in this topic? Why are people interested in this topic? Forgive me, I do not have slides. It is a discussion. I'm not a fan of PowerPoint. We are going to have a conversation around emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence? And I always like challenging people to tell me what are the synonyms for emotional intelligence? What do you think are the synonyms for emotional intelligence? So on your chart, you can easily tell us what you think emotional intelligence is in terms of synonyms. What do you understand? Because I'm sure most of you have read about emotional intelligence. Most of you have presented on emotional intelligence. So we are just reminding ourselves on what is emotional intelligence. Let's go. Let me give you 30 seconds to tell us what you think is emotional intelligence so that we can bring the ideas that you have contributed so that we can understand what is emotional intelligence. Let us see the first person. Let us see the first person. I can see somebody's writing. Self-awareness and ability to be in charge of oneself. That is Mweni. Thank you so much for that wonderful contribution. I am very happy that you've been the first one, and that is courage, that is confidence that you have managed to acquire for a long time. So let's do it. Mweni has said ability to control one's emotions. Yes, let us contribute. Let us contribute. Don't shy away. Accepting we have emotions. Yes, I can see in M0 I said accepting that we have emotions, not denying them. Denying something that you have is just a defense mechanism. I am in a forum whereby we sometimes really say that we should really hide a lot of our emotions. Lois, I said, being wise, ability to control emotions and how you react. The word react is very, very important in that definition. How do you use your emotions to guide you in your ecosystem or in your environment? That is very ability, that is least ability to remain calm, even in difficult conversations. Yes, imagine if you do not remain calm, how many people you will shoot, how many people you will step on the road. Ruth Zawadi says, understanding how your emotions affect yourself and others. That is a wonderful, wonderful definition. Jason Akonga, ability to perceive, express, and regulate. Regulation is one of the components, it's one of the dimensions, it's the one of the building blocks of emotional intelligence. The ability to be clever about your emotions, the ability to be brilliant about your emotion. How do you use your emotions in this life? Should you just say it's a free check whereby everything can be written on those emotions? So we have given knowing, Christine Kanya has given the ability to know how to speak and act. Yes, you should know how to act with colleagues, with your employers, with your friends. You should know how to react. You cannot say that I'm going to speak my mind. You can speak your mind and get into hot soup. So you have got to know, yes, I've got a mind, but this mind has to be in charge. Quinta Odongo is the ability to manage hormone emotions and also understand yourself. Those are very good. That shows that most of us have really mastered. I have attended so many webinars about emotional intelligence, and they understand what emotional intelligence and how it affects our careers, how it affects our lives, and generally for academic purpose. So it is important for us to continuously remind ourselves what is emotional intelligence, and we have given a pretty good picture of what is emotional intelligence. The definition, people have said it is how you react, it is how you control, it is how you manage, it is how you perceive, it is the awareness that you have. Miriam Nyambura said, being in a position to deal with a situation smartly. The word smart is very important there in that definition. Being clever, being brilliant, being perceptive, being a person who has gone into understanding the role of emotions in their lives, in their career, and how it relates to how they live in this life. So we have said it is controlling, it is reacting well, it is calibrating, it is measuring how you are going to use your emotions to respond. So many things have happened in the past 1 week. We have got a policeman shooting a judge who has unfortunately died. We have had a very senior intelligence officer shooting himself. The other day, we had I think it's yesterday, the dad of that lady called Koikai has committed suicide. So what are those things telling us? Are we in charge of our emotions? Do we just react to the environment and not measuring the repercussions? The other important component of emotional intelligence is knowing how to use your emotions for career progress, for branding yourself, because this has got a relationship with how you brand yourself as well. How do you use emotions to brand yourself, to brand your career, to brand yourself as a person? So we have given very good synonyms that show that indeed we are interested, and we have attended so many seminars that, or webinars or conferences that have been able to pass the meaning of emotion. So the very first thing that you need to know is understanding, having the acumen, having the appraised yourself of what is emotion. It is having the competence, it's having competence, it is having the quotient, it is the literacy, it is the aptitude you have about your emotion, it is the savviness that you have about your emotions. You should have the competence to apply your emotions so that you achieve those targets that you want to achieve in your area of specialization. So once we have understood that emotional intelligence is the competence to handle your emotions in such a way that you benefit in a large scale, you benefit in a large way, you promote your business, having emotions that are well measured so that you benefit from them. You promote your business, you promote your career, you promote your brand, you become prestigious because of certain emotions that you have. So it is good to have emotions that assist you in being successful, having emotions that help you in becoming a better version of yourself. So we're having understood what is emotional intelligence or what is emotional quotient, then we'll ask ourselves, what are the benefits of emotional intelligence as it relates to our work environment? One of the things that is beneficial in understanding emotional intelligence is that you are in a position to manage the stressful environment. We have said that the week, some of us have said that the week was very stressful because of exams. Some of us are working in an environment whereby we are not excited to wake up in the morning to go there. Some of us are working in environments whereby it is very toxic. We have an environment of gossip. We have an environment of whereby our salaries are paid on the 11th, on the 7th. You can see that is very stressful. And if you do not have emotional intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to react, you are going to respond in a way that is not beneficial to you. Emotional intelligence is beneficial because it helps us to regulate how we respond to stressful situations. And we are surrounded by stress. We are surrounded by stressful people. We are surrounded by stressful occurrences. So it is only by having the emotional competence or the emotional intelligence that we will be able to reduce the exposure or the effect of stress. The other benefit of emotional intelligence is it assists us in making connections. It assists in networking. When you have the right feeling, when you have well-nurtured feeling, you will be able to network with other professional colleagues, other friends, because you know how to network. Because you know how to make yourself productive, to make yourself a useful person within your ecosystem. When you have emotional intelligence, you will be able to say that I need to have the feeling that I need to relate to this person because I know if I network very well, I'll benefit in terms of career, I'll benefit in terms of my business. Some people go to conferences or webinars or conventions and they do not benefit out of it because they have a feeling that me, I am not Hosea, I am not X and Y, Z, I'm not Damaris, I'm not known, therefore I'm not going to, that feeling that you have. But when you have emotional intelligence, you know that this person can know me by introducing myself to this person, can know me if I tell them that I am a human resource practitioner, I'm a specialist in talent acquisition, I'll be able to create credibility to this person and I'll create a networking effect and I'll benefit probably by my business, through my business gaining, my name being known, that is branding myself. So we gain a lot from knowing what is emotional intelligence, what is emotional competence. The other benefit we get out of having emotional intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, is we become better leaders. Why do you think we say that employees leave organizations, they don't leave organizations, they leave leaders? Most likely, those leaders do not have good emotional intelligence. They are very rough, probably. They are very rude. They do not put themselves in the shoes of the people they are leading. For example, you can find a leader giving you goals that are unrealistic. You know, that is definitely a recipe for creating a toxic environment. But when you have emotional intelligence as a leader, you are able to understand why has so and so not performed according to expectation. How should I set smart goals for this person? This person has come late to work. Should I understand why they have come late to work? How do I make decisions that affect people? How do I make decisions that affect the organization? Because leadership is not really a position. Leadership is a mindset that you have. It is the way you are set mentally, how you relate to people, how you make decisions, how you influence people. And this depends on how we feel about that particular situation. We must have the right emotions, intelligent emotions for us to be good leaders. We must ask ourselves several questions as we become leaders. And it is only emotional intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, that will make you step back and ask yourself, am I making the right decision? Do I have the right frame of mind? Do I need to make this decision now that I'm annoyed, or should I wait for a few days so that I collect the evidence relating to this particular matter that I'm dealing with? So, as you defined rightly, that emotional intelligence is part and parcel of regulating your emotions. If you do not have a regulator, you will really mess a lot of people. You will kill people. You will even kill yourself if you do not step back from your emotions, regulating them. As we proceed and understand what are some of the components of emotional intelligence, we'll realize regulation is part of emotional intelligence, and it's a benefit that we get out of understanding what is emotional intelligence. Imagine a situation whereby you have a car and you want to drive it at 160, and it's a Vitz, for example, or it's a small vehicle. If you do not have the correct emotional intelligence or the correct emotional competence, you will drive and forget that one of the components of a vehicle is having brakes. You must have brakes to every other emotion you are having. So as you speed, remember, there are so many things that can happen around you and they will cause you harm. So it is important for us to regulate our emotions. The other benefit of having emotional intelligence is self-regulation. Not self-regulation, it is having self-awareness. In interviews, one of the questions that human resource practitioners ask is, tell us about yourself. And that is the scariest question. How do I answer the question, tell me about yourself? What are the strategies of answer? So you must know what are your preferences as a human being. What are your strengths as a human being? What are the threats that face you after you have understood your strengths, after you have understood your weaknesses, and what are the opportunities that come out of you regulating your emotions, you controlling your emotions, you being proactive about your emotions. And briefly, we touched on self-awareness when you were dealing with branding. Self-awareness is the first building block towards you doing better things, towards you becoming a better person. Self-awareness. Do you have a book, ladies and gentlemen, where you write things about yourself, how you are feeling today, how you are feeling right now, how you are feeling about somebody? It is a culture that is in the Western world. It is a culture that is in Europe, America, where they have journals where they write certain things that are occurring in their environment. Do you know why it is important for you to have a journal which you talk about yourself? Knowing yourself is important for your career. What are your strengths? What makes you you? You know, when you write your strengths as a form of self-awareness, you become more confident. One of the things that I observe in public speaking classes is I shake, I lose words, words disappear. Why? It is because you are not confident. And confidence is a function or a function of competence. You cannot easily be confident if you do not have competence. So you have got to list all your competencies, all your skills. Even when you are being asked during interviews, why should we hire you? They are talking about your competencies, which you have not memorized, which you have not practiced, which you have not rehearsed. From today, if you want to excel in your given area, in your career, put your competencies down. Put your skills down. Be proud of your skills. Don't be modest. You can tell the friend you're drinking coffee with, you can tell your supervisor that I have these competencies, I am advancing in these competencies, and I need to be rewarded. You have got to be proud of your competencies. That is very good self-awareness. You must have a lot of self-awareness for you to be emotionally competent, for you to be emotionally intelligent. So self-awareness is one of the building blocks of emotional intelligence. What is the other benefit that comes out of understanding emotional competence? Emotional competence can be achieved by being very highly motivated. Tell me where you can succeed without being very highly motivated. Being enthusiastic. Give me where instance you can succeed without being very highly motivated. Some of us have energies that are 10% of what we should be. Let us rate ourselves right now. Out of 5, 5 being the highest, how do you feel about the goals that you are achieving? How enthusiastic are you? 5 being the highest, rate yourself. Because you cannot succeed in your career, in your business, in your brand, if your energy levels are not very high. So tell me, what are your energy levels right now about the goals that you've set, about the exam you're going to do, about the projects that you have? Just generally, just give me a figure out of 5. Quickly, let us do a random poll. Tell me what kind of energy you have. And it is out of emotional intelligence that you are going to have a lot of, and it relates. Quinta said 3. Yes, Quinta said 3. So we'll challenge you. Why are you not at 5? Why are your energy levels? What is stopping you? Is it stress? Is it Mweni is saying 4? That is very, very good. We'll ask you why you are not eating 5. We'll ask yourself, what are Claire Muda is asking 4. Claire, we thank you so much for coming up to support us in understanding what is emotional competence. Yes, tell us how you're feeling about life, about your career, what energy, what enthusiasm you have, what zeal do you have about all the project, because that is what is going to contribute towards your career success. If your energy is low, who will promote you? If your energies are low, when you go for an interview, who is going to give you work? If you go to an interview, give the correct answer, but your energy levels are very low. You know, some of us miss work, not because we do not have the right answers, but it's because we do not have the right amount of energy. Yes, a few people have been energetic enough to say their energy levels. A few people have not been able to say. Please tell us how you feel about your energy on a level of 5 to 1, or on a level 5 being the highest. Is it because your energies are low? That is why you've not responded. Yeah? You have to be happy. You have to be cheerful. You have to find sources of energy for you to succeed in this life. The moment you feel that you do not want to wake out of bed and write that application letter, do that CV, then you are not going to succeed. You will remain in the pity party arena where you do not succeed in your career because you are into complaining. You do not have the right amount of energy. The only cure you have about increasing emotional intelligence is having the right amount of enthusiasm. Unajiskuma, you have to push yourself, even when you do not have, yes, get out of the pity party arena. Yes, 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 Claire. You have got to get out of the, we are the the average of the 5 people we relate to. If you find yourself sitting down and then you are complaining, you do not have solutions, you do not set smart goals, you do not know about yourself, you do not know how to, you will not prosper. You will not prosper because your emotions are, you will continue blaming the environment, but it is because you have not tuned your emotions very well. You will continue labeling yourself, I am a silent follower. You do not participate. Your energies are not for participation. You do not get involved. Yet there are so many opportunities for you to get involved. Okay? What is the other benefits of having emotional intelligence, ladies and gentlemen? One of the other benefits of emotional intelligence is being empathetic. Being empathetic. You empathize with the situation. I'm not saying that you get into the thinking of that particular person or that particular, you get into it to understand. For example, in the beginning, I told you about how do you deal with somebody who is a very habitual in their late coming. How do you handle a case as a human resource practitioner? Do you give them a suspension without listening to them? How do you handle that? It will really assist you in managing compliance issues. If you have the right emotional intelligence, it will assist you in handling compliance issues. Because you take back, you step back and try and research, try and consult. But if you do not have emotional intelligence, if you do not have empathy, you will proceed to do the wrong thing just because you have the powers to do it. Some of the cases that I get in my DM is where a boss says, we do not want to listen to that person, just fire them, just give them a suspension. And that person goes to the labor court, goes to the Department of Labor, which is near them, and they force the organization to pay a certain amount of money because the organization was not able to control their emotions. The CEO, the MD, the immediate boss was not able to control themselves so that they can take the correct approach as required by law. That is why most of those cases are in the labor court, because leaders do not have emotional intelligence to step back, regulate the emotions, and act accordingly. The other benefit of emotional intelligence is having social skills, which is related to networking. So how do you build a rapport with somebody you need to benefit from career-wise in terms of business? Emotional intelligence is the treasure box that you will remove that magic wand and remove social skills and be able to relate to Brenda, relate to Claire, relate to Maureen, relate to Miriam, relate to Neri, relate to Regina. Why do most relationships die after attending a conference, after attending a webinar, after attending those high teas that we are seeing in professional circles? It is because we have not developed. It is because we have not used our ability for social skills well. And we are told that social skills or social skills are the currency of career progression. If you want to progress, I can tell you for free that most jobs are gained not necessarily because of competence, but because of the social skills that you have built. And you have to put a lot of work into it. It is not something that you're going to say some of opportunities are getting lost because I do not belong to a particular tribe, I do not belong to a particular university. No, it is because you have not dedicated a certain amount of time in creating social skills that will catapult your career into a higher level. The person who coined the saying that your network is what will make you have more net worth did a lot of research. If I know Claire, for example, if I know Ozea, if I know Maureen, I'll walk into their offices more easily than when I do not know them. And that is why you should be able to attend situations whereby people are. And you know, wealth comes from people. Wealth comes from people. So if the less people you know, that means your career prospects diminish in equal measure. Where do we get information about work? You get it from people. Where do we get information about promotions? We get it from people. Where do we get opportunities announced? We get them from people. As you can see, there is an abundance of evidence that it is out of developing proper emotional intelligence that we are able to prosper in our careers, in our businesses, and in managing our brands. And those are the few benefits of having the right emotional intelligence. So what are these dimensions? And the dimensions of emotional intelligence are also the benefits. The benefits of emotional intelligence, because we have understood, and you gave me the correct synonyms for emotional intelligence. You said it's about control, it's about self-regulation, it's about being smart about your emotions, it's about being highly motivated, it's about having the social skills. So the scholars who have been the exponents of emotional intelligence have told us that emotional intelligence has 5 components, has 5 dimensions. The first and the most crucial and the critical component of emotional intelligence is to do self-awareness tests. Self-aware, knowing yourself, understanding yourself as much as possible. What are your prejudices? What are your stereotypes? What are the things that you dislike? What are the things that you like? What are your strengths? What are your I don't know if it's because of religion we are told to be humble, but in the work environment, which is a sharkish environment, you should be known with a lot of strengths, a lot of competencies, which you have documented. That is why these days, when you look at CVs, we minimize the functions, because anybody can be able to say that I am good in talent acquisition. Most recruiters are interested with your achievements, and your achievements become part of your self-awareness, that you are aware of your achievement, that you are aware of your strengths. And that is sometimes in interviews, that question is twisted. Why should we hire you and not Okello or Odhiambo or Brenda or Miriam or Claire? Why should we not hire you? It is the same question, but it is twisted to see consistency. It is the same question. So if you are very modest, if you are very humble about your achievements, if you do not document, ladies and gentlemen, the secret of career success is documenting. And when I say documenting, is having a notebook, is having a journal where you write your achievements, so that when it comes to that interview, when it comes to that promotion, you are able to bring forth your achievements without fear, without nervousness, without awkwardness. You understand totally what are your competencies. And how do we do self-awareness? We write journals. We do psychometric tests. We do personality tests. We do feedback. You allow somebody to tell you, this is what you are good in. You sit down with your coach and they tell you that this is what you are good in. This is what you need to improve. And then you start improving. Don't be shy having a coach. Don't be shy having a mentor. Don't be shy having a trainer, so that you can accentuate your strong points, so that you can move from one area of success to the other. And also you need to understand what are your weaknesses as part of your self-awareness journey. What are the black spots? What are your pain points? What are the areas that make you lose opportunities as you seek for them? You could be having a lot of competencies, but there are areas that are weak that you have not decided to shine light on them. And those are the areas that are weighing you down. In economics, we call it deadwood. You must discover your deadwood in you. Those wounds that you have, they must not be, don't deny the existence of those wounds that you have. And in Africa, we should really normalize seeing counselors. We should normalize seeing therapists, so that we can deal with trauma. Some of us are dealing with the trauma, and then we cannot be able to function very well because we have got wounds that have not healed. We, like that Mzee who killed himself yesterday. I do not know if he killed, but that is what people are saying. It is because of the wounds that he has been able to deny for a long time, and now he has snapped and killed himself because he has not done self-awareness test, because we undervalue the role of seeing a psychotherapist. We undervalue the role of seeing a counselor. Some of us, our careers are not progressing because we have not seen a career counselor, so that they can be able to say, this is what you should do, this is how you should do career tests, this is your strong points, so that you can become normalized. Even if you are not sick, seeing a counselor is not for nut cases. Seeing a psychotherapist is not that you are nuts. See a counselor to bounce off your ideas. How can you buy pizza, which is 2,000, and you cannot see a counselor who will help you in understanding yourself so that you can progress? I'm not taking a jab at pizza, people who love pizza, but I'm saying, why spend 2,000 on pizza and you cannot spend 2,000 with a coach who will be able to move you across the challenges you're having in your career? We take careers for granted. We take our careers for granted. We do not invest. We invest a certain level amount of money with our careers. So if you want to progress in your career, ladies and gentlemen, invest in self-awareness. Have a coach, have a mentor, have a trainer, have a friend you bounce. Claire, I know we're supposed to meet and have coffee. Yes, a friend you bounce idea. You are not the ultimate aim. I mean, you do not, you are, I mean, what you have is less than what other people have. So meet with other people so that they can challenge your belief. They can challenge your value system, so that they can challenge your belief. So those self-limiting beliefs, that is self-awareness. Learn to shine some light on your self-awareness. Don't be so closed such that fresh air does not come into you. That is how to promote your career, by having self-awareness. The other thing which we looked earlier as a benefit of emotional intelligence is empathy. So many things, so many problems, so many challenges in this life will be reduced considerably if we had the competence of empathy. If we can be able to get into other people's shoes. One of my favorite books, and I keep reminding people, it is the book Habits of Highly Effective People. It talks about seek to understand other people before you seek them to understand you. When you understand other people, you have put your career in a better place. What does your boss want? What does your leader want? What do your colleagues want? Put them in your, not that you're buying their viewpoint, but you want to understand what are their prejudices, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, so that you can be able to navigate around those minds. You know, the book 48 Laws of Power tells us never outshine your master. Why does it tell us like that? Why does it tell us like that? Understand other people. Understand the other people you are working, so that you can be able to influence. Remember, leadership is about influence. If you do not have empathy, how are you going to influence anybody? And the leadership is defined in all classes, that it is the capacity to influence other people. You can't influence other people, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not empathetic. You have to be empathetic for you to influence people as a leader. And the leadership is about your mindset. It is your ability to communicate. It is your ability to be creative. It is your ability to be critical. It is your ability to listen. It is you actively listening. If you are not an active listener, you are not a communicator, you are not a leader, you will fail several times, because you are not listening to other people. You are blocked. Your ego has blocked. Because you do not have self-awareness, your ego has blocked you from listening from other people, so that you can learn. I have written actually an article about active listening, the benefits of active listening. It is part of emotional intelligence, and it's part of being empathetic, and it will assist you. Great leaders are those who have learned to be empathetic. They listen to people's challenges, they listen to people's opinions, so that they can be able to move together. And remember, in change management, one of the things that you need to do is to create a buy-in. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me where change management is successful without buy-in. And buy-in is another way of saying empathy. It is another way of saying empathy. It is involvement. That is why the Constitution is very strict on, I'm talking about ideal situation. I'm not talking about where people's rights are trumped. I'm saying one of the critical components of constitutionalism is participation. And participation is about empathy. It is about active listening. It's about people's input. So if you want to become a leader in your organization, practice empathy, which is active listening, which is encouraging people to brainstorm during meetings, even if the opinions do not align to what you think. That is what great leaders do. They allow in even divergent issues, perspectives, insights that contradict their own way of thinking. What is the other dimension of emotional intelligence? The other dimension of emotional intelligence, which is also a part of the advantage of emotional intelligence, is the social skills that I've been able to tell you. Have social skills. Ladies and gentlemen, give me some, you can Google, there's no problem. What are some of the social skills you have? What are some of the social capital you have? Please write on the chat. Ask yourself some of the social skills you have, because how will you succeed without social skills? And that is the currency. Please write on your chat, what are some of the social skills you have? It is part of enhancing, it is part of boosting your career. What are you doing to boost your career using social skills, right? Okay, let's go. Let us write. Let us write. What are those social skills we have? I can see somebody's writing. Quickly, let us write. Somebody has said communication and what? When he has written communication and what? Osai, you can be able to read. Something is blocking me from reading.
I can see many communication and negotiation.
Yes. Mweni, thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution. Even during
respect and listening.
Respect and listening.
Effective communication, respect and empathy. Effective communication, respect and empathy. Yeah. Respect.
Very good. Very good. Part of the social skills, and I have mentioned it in a webinar that called Conversations. If I get it wrong, Claire, you can tell me, where I've mentioned that negotiation is very important for you when you are negotiating your salaries, when you are negotiating, when you're selling something. Ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the critical skills that you need to have for you to become successful in your career. You must learn to negotiate your salary. You must learn to research so that you can negotiate better. You must negotiate with the people you are dealing with. It is a back and forth thing, Maureen. It is, Lois, it is something that you have to research. How much negotiation do I have? Even when you are buying something, you have to negotiate. Being a negotiator is one of the most critical professional skills that you must have, and it is part of social skills. You cannot be a person who just swallows anything. You must learn to exchange views without giving up, so long as those views are well researched. Building a rapport. Why do you think in team building we bring the issue of icebreakers? Why do we bring people together to bond? Why do we break silos when we go for team building, which Ozea is very good at? Why do we bring people together so that they can break those silos? Departments thinking they are the best, finance thinking they are the best, HR thinking they are best, C-suite, that is the CEOs and heads of department, they're best. We have to learn to synergize. And the synergy is one of the skills that is dealt by Dr. Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We must learn to collaborate. How much have you collaborated this year, Otieno? How much have you collaborated this year, Maureen? How much have you collaborated, Lois, Margaret, Regina, Liz? How much have you collaborated? So complaining and having pity will not help you in moving in your career. You must learn certain social skills deliberately. Rosemary, you must learn deliberate. You must invest certain skills that we call social skills. And we have said it is about you being a communicator, you being a negotiator, you being a person who knows to build rapport, you being persistent, you being patient about relationship, you contributing symbiotically to building relationship. So how many social skills do you have, ladies and gentlemen? Go and list them and give them a grade out of 5, out of you. Then look at your career, how you have progressed using that matrix, that assessment that you have done. List the social skills that you have, give them marks, and check them against how you have moved in your career. The magic bullet is being intentional, investing in emotional intelligence, and part of emotional intelligence is building your social skill sets. You have got to be uncomfortable. Some of us love being very comfortable about where we are. You have to challenge yourself. For you to gain from social skills, you have to be very persistent. You have to be very consistent in building your social skills arsenal. So today, ladies and gentlemen, you're called upon to ask yourself several questions about your social skills. How many people have you known this year? How many people have you known this year? And what are the benefits of those people you have known? Right, what value do those people bring to you? And what value, and remember I mentioned the word symbiotic, what value are you adding to these people? Do not build social skills on empty stomach. Build your social skills also by providing, by participating, by getting involved in other work that will build your brand. Pity parties will not promote your career, will not promote your business. You have to ask yourself how many people I have known this year, how many webinars I have been able to bring, how many webinars I have been able to attend, how many people have been able to know. Social skills. We say your network will determine your net worth. If your success in your career is at level 2, it means then your social skills need to be brought up. You need to scale up, scalability. You need to practice scalability. You need to come out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone. You know, your last success can be your comfort zone, ladies and gentlemen. Let us move to the next part of emotional competence, emotional understanding, emotional appraisal, emotional quotient. The other part of emotional quotient, which is also a benefit, which is also a merit, is energy, 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 frequency, the vibes you bring across. You know, like in public speaking, I tell people that the audience will mirror the speaker, or the level of speaking of the presenter will determine how the audience participates. And the word audience here can involve interview, can mean interviewers, can mean your boss, can mean your friends. How you use your energy to engage the people you are convincing, the people you are persuading, the people you are telling that I have this thing to bring to the table. Remember, when you're being promoted, you are convincing the panelists that you have something to bring. You are an asset. When you are going to a seminar, you are convincing somebody that you are an asset who they can relate with, who can bring things. They will see your energy. What is your energy? So how much energy do you have? And that is why wellness, I hope, Claire, you will bring wellness this week in your conversations, well, especially as it relates to men. Your energy is important in prospering. Nobody will promote a weak person. Nobody will promote a person who has very low energy. And that is why eating a balanced diet, going to the gym, taking brisk walks is important for your career. So how often do you walk? I know Hosea goes to the gym. I don't know if he has told, but I know he goes to the gym. He's a strong man. So your energy will determine how people relate to you. Even when you are being given, what work can you do if you do not have energy? How much energy are you putting in? Motivation, inspiration, empowering people. You must have quotes. You must have statistics. You must have convincing reasons why you should relate with other people. And energy is the first thing you need to have for your career to progress. Energy, vibes, frequency. Now, I am told that the Gen Z call it Riz. Is it correct, Hosea? I'm told the energy, they call it Riz. They call it the Riz here. The vibes here.
I'm also wondering the same.
For those who are Gen Z, you can tell us how you call energy and frequency. Yeah, you must ooze energy if you want to be promoted. You must ooze energy at the interview. You cannot say 1 + 1 is 2 and you expect to get that job. Somebody who brings the energy, somebody who brings that marvelous frequency is the person who is going to be given the job, because they have Claire is laughing. Yes, Have energy. Learn to use. God has given us the sources of energy. God has given us energy. So ask yourself, what are you using your energy? Are you using your energy to create value? Use your energy. It is part of emotional intelligence. It is part of emotional intelligence. It is part of the things that you need to have for your career to take a very high trajectory. And know how to use your energy. Don't waste your energy on things that do not bring money. Don't waste your energy that do not bring better relationships, because relationships will build your career, will build your business. Don't waste your energy on things that do not bring value. That's what, at least that is what I believe. If something is not going to give me money, if something is not going to build a relationship, if something does not give me confidence, I avoid, especially the online wars that people have. I step back and ask myself, what am I going to get out of this? I have gone to Mama Mboga, I've bought spinach, I've bought cucumber, I've bought ugali. I've used a lot of money to create that energy. Why should I use it in useless endeavors? Why should I waste my energy? I better sleep than waste my energy. But I should not sleep, because the Bible discourages too much sleeping, because it is what will bring poverty to you. Use your energy to create relationships. Use your energy to promote your career. Use your energy to promote your business. Don't waste it. The other component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. Self-regulation, how you regulate your emotions. I gave you an analogy of driving a car. You can drive your car at 160, but what are the dangers of driving your car at 160 kilometers per hour? There are brakes you need to use so that you slow down. It is easier for you to control. So part of emotional intelligence is control, calibrating. You cannot be giving people your mind all the time. If you give people all your mind all the time, you will end up losing your mind. Measure what are the benefits of what you are going to use. How are you going to regulate your emotions? Should you drink 50 beers? Should you drink 30 beers? Should you drink 20? Should you drink 5? Should you drink 1? That is regulation. That is emotional intelligence. Regulating, controlling, putting a brake on what you think. If we didn't have self-regulation, we could be killing people as much as we could. We could be abusing people at work. We could be abusing people the way we want. But because we have the capacity to self-regulate, to control, we are able to get out of many jams. We are able to get out of challenging moments. Ladies and gentlemen, we have understood, and you have been a wonderful audience. You have defined to everybody what constitutes emotional intelligence. We have said emotional intelligence is the ability or the competence to be able to recognize, also control your emotions for excellence, for you to gain the best version of yourself. We have understood that it's control, it's regulation. That is very important. Then we have gone to what are the benefits of you recognizing, you controlling your emotions. We have listed various benefits: career, leadership, communication, being empathetic, building your self-awareness. We have done that. Rosemary, now the next thing you need to do is to list as many benefits. Maureen, Margaret, Regina, list hundreds and hundreds of the benefits of emotional intelligence. Why should you invest? Is it for your business? Is it for your brand? Is it for your career. List everything. That is the task I'm giving you. And God is watching in a big screen if you are going to do that homework. Then we have come to the components. Basically, if you are head of department, or if your head of department says, let us train on emotional intelligence, you know the sequence of presenting emotional intelligence. If you are a fan of PowerPoint, you can use PowerPoint. But the sequence is, we have defined, we have gone to the benefits of emotional intelligence, we have gone to the dimensions or what constitutes emotional intelligence. How should we elevate our emotional intelligence? Attend webinars like this, having a journal where we write our emotions and all that, receiving feedback as one of the benefits of being a highly emotional, not a highly emotional, a highly intelligent person in terms of emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a wonderful, wonderful pleasure. I've been delighted to exchange my thoughts about emotional intelligence. And I know you will be able. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Mweni. Thank you, Mweni. Thank you, Mweni. Thank you, Liz. I hope you're going to sit down and do more research. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, David Abiero, for Grace Mugui, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And one of the things of emotional intelligence is the development of your capacity to have gratitude. It is part of emotional intelligence. You must have gratitude. You must be able to say, hey, I love your shoes. I love you, the way you've done your work. That presentation, don't be so mean. Learn to be grateful. Anne Mwasia, thank you so much. Rosemary Nyaboke, thank you so much. Over to you, Hosea, for questions.
Hi, Richard, and everyone. That was very insightful. I believe the appreciation with the emojis are very clear to show that how impactful this session has been. So I welcome these questions, and I normally encourage guys, if you can unmute and just ask your question. For those who are not in a position to, probably you can just have your question in the chat and then we can read it out. So we are into the question session, the Q&A session. So feel free, unmute if you can, ask your question, and you can ask it also in the chat. Anything that you need clarity on.
You can contribute as well. It's not necessarily a question.
Yes, yes.
You can learn to speak. I train people in public speaking, so I'll be disappointed if you don't use this opportunity to practice. Please unmute and say something that people will remember you. It's a part of branding. I can remember David. I can remember Maslin Nyambala. Well, Claire Munde, thank you so much.
Anything that you need insights on? How do you grow your vibes? Okay, that's clear.
Claire, probably the best question should have been, how do you grow good vibes like Claire? Claire, you have got very good vibes. So tell us how you grew them. Anyway, how to grow good vibes is knowing what message. Vibes are, it is content. It is like content creation. How have you created your own content? Because part of branding, part of building your emotional competence is having a certain amount of content. The type of content. What content do you have? Do you have content that inspires people? Do you have content that empowers people? Do you have gratitude? Do you encourage people? Are you a person who discourages people? Are you a person who encourages people? Are you a person who knows how to lead people? So building your vibes is knowing your strengths, knowing you have leadership abilities, knowing that you have active listening skills, knowing you know how to make creative thinking decisions. You know how to be critical about information. What is the value of people around you? How do you relate to friends? How do you relate to strangers? Build your arsenal of strengths, list them, and use them. Like, for example, you have a program on LinkedIn called Conversation where you deal with finance issues, advice. Those are vibes. You're building vibes. Build content. You should know your niche. The type of content you're creating is a form of vibe. You bring it to the market arena. You bring it to people. You use WhatsApp, use Telegram to bring your message. You're building your vibe, your type of vibe. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it in between? You're building your vibe. What are your qualities? What are your traits? What makes a good human being? Do not, there are people who are very brilliant, but they keep their brilliance to themselves. They are not bringing the vibe together. You should be able to bring, like here, next time we should have David presenting, we should have Liz presenting, so that we can know their vibes, you know, learn how to, and one of the most important skills, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is the ability to know how to talk well. How will you bring your vibe? How will you bring your message without knowing how to talk like yours truly? You have to learn to speak. Communication is the lifeblood of organizations. If you do not know how to talk during meetings, wewe ni yule anasema I'm not going to say in a lot of words, or I'm not going to add, I have something small to say, or I'll pass. If you say those things in meetings, your CEO is looking at you, your head of department is looking at you, you are missing your ability to impact, to influence people who make decisions. Learn to talk. Don't leave talking or speaking to chance. Don't leave it to luck. How many people have gotten 1,000 shillings today? I highly doubt it. These days, people don't get money. But do you know how to get money? Learn how to speak very well. Convince people to listen to you. People will go to their ATMs and remove money to pay to hear you talk. That is how to build vibes, build networks, strengthen make sure your relationships are strong. Those are vibes. Your message, your content, your leadership abilities, those are vibes.
Richard, we have a question. How do you create and improve on networking?
How do you improve and create on networking? Networking, simply speaking, is knowing people. It is connecting with people. It is understanding what moves people. It is what motivates people, understanding the psychology of people. And you exchange, have a symbiotic relationship. In most seminars, in most conferences, people do not know how to introduce themselves. I am very sure for those people who mentor people, they have had people come to their DMs and say, I have a question. They do not introduce themselves at all. Introducing yourself, that is your name. I am Claire Munde. You write your name. I am a communications expert. I have practiced communication or finance for the last, but I have a question for you. Do you have a moment? You are building your network. You have introduced yourself credibly. You have introduced yourself professionally. So learning how to introduce yourself and fueling that, yes, Claire, that elevator summary when you're connecting, it means somebody will rate you on a serious note. People will know this is not a joker, this is not a time waster, this is a person who wants to learn. And the person you're introducing yourself to are aware, they have been trained, they have trained themselves. Any person who comes for me, they want to learn something from me, and I am sure that I'm building a relationship which is going to go very far. Let me answer this question so that we can build a professional relationship from there. You have got to go to seminars. You have got to participate in create time for webinars. And when you go to webinars, do not sit back and say, mimi ni wale wa kungojea tu watu wengine wafanye vitu. Learn to participate. Learn to get involved. Be in people's faces. Be in people's spaces in a good way, that is to speak. You must go to those webinars. You must go to those seminars. You must go to those have a special fund, a war chest, where you create a fund of meeting people. Do you know, and Hosea will tell you, that 70% of the jobs are not announced on WhatsApp. They are not announced using mainstream media. It is, I have a job here. Refer me to 5 people. I don't want to receive thousands of CVs. That is research. A whopping 70% of the jobs, even businesses, you will not see them on WhatsApp. You will not see them on Telegram. It is who knows who. And that is why successful people know more people than less successful people. That is why I was asking, how many people have you known this year? And what have you done? Know people. Wealth comes from people. And you must have people skills. It has been said, when you reach a certain level, ladies and gentlemen, technical skills cease to matter because other people will be doing payroll, somebody will be doing documentation. It is soft skills. Develop soft skills. Soft skills. Communication. Learn how to pronounce words. Learn how to articulate words. Learn the power of words. Learn the power of negotiation. Learn the power of collaboration. If you do not collaborate with a particular person, why should I send a job to you? Why should I send business to you? I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, I believe the question is answered. Let's go to the next one. How can emotional intelligence affect leadership?
If we were in a physical seminar, I could have been the devil's advocate to ask you, how does emotional intelligence affect leadership? I have told you leadership is not a position. Leadership is not sitting and be called the head of a department. Leadership is the ability to make decisions. Leadership is the ability to choose some things. Leadership is about communication. Leadership is about negotiation. And the question therefore comes, how do you make decisions? It is self-regulation that will make you make better decisions. It is networking which will make you become a better leader. Can you become a better leader without negotiation or influencing people? Certainly not, because leadership by definition is influence, and influence is about communication. It's about content creation. You know, when you're writing, when you're speaking, yes, I've seen somebody that said when to know, yeah, silence. Silence is good. Active listening. When you're being silent, it's a virtue also to listen to other people. So leadership is really emotional intelligence. Can you influence people you do not listen to? Can you make better decisions, especially, for example, in compliance issues, whereby you've gotten somebody, one of your employees comes to work late, and you do not ask the reasons why they are coming to work late. If you don't ask, this person could be a caregiver. This person could be having problems. They're being beaten at home, so they are stressed. They cannot be able to function properly. That is why you need to sit down and understand even if you're not going to change the decision, but at least you will be able to understand. And that is why most employees, that is why organizations have lost you. You've lost me in terms of explanation, or you've lost me in terms of being heard. You can come again.
Liz?
Liz, you can unmute and say how I've lost you. Okay, let me assume that probably I've lost you in terms of explanation. Emotional intelligence assists leaders in making decisions. For example, in an organization whereby the CEO says, sack that person without undergoing through the disciplinary mechanisms because they are annoyed or because they have powers. But if you have emotional intelligence, you will be able to say, we have compliance laws that have to be followed before I make a decision of separating these employees. So you can see it is because you have regulated your annoyance, you have controlled your emotions about being annoyed, that you stopped making a decision. This person should undergo a disciplinary process as it is allowed in the law. So leadership will make you regulate your emotions, will make you better at making decisions, will make you a better communicator because you will learn to listen. You know, leadership is about listening to other people. If you do not have the ability to be empathetic, will you listen to other people? Communication is important for a leader. How will you communicate without doing all the research work that is involved in communication so that you can be able to put your points across? How will you calibrate your language if you do not use empathy? It's a long topic. Probably you can call me or text me so that I can explain further. Because of time, I am rushing somewhere. I have an event. Quinter is saying, most people have been talking about against having colleagues as friends. What is your take? Yes. Should you have friends at your workplace? I think it is because people have suffered enough at the hands of people they think they are friends. And that is why the quote or the advice has been given. At workplaces, you have got to be very careful because, you know, it is where people are fighting for scarce resources. You do not know who has been sent by who is a friend of the CEO, who is drinking alcohol with the CEO or the head of department, who is going to the same Jumuiya with the CEO. You do not know. It is a workplace is a workplace where there is a power struggle. So if your workplace is toxic, then you really need to be careful. There are places I've worked and I've created friends, very good friends, and they'll be friends forever. There are people have worked for a long time and they can never ever be friends. So you have got to filter for a long time who should become your friend, because you need allies at work. It is as simple as that. You cannot be isolated. In fact, the 48 laws of power tells us not to be isolated. When you become isolated, you become a target. You have to know how to maneuver around power minds to function. You cannot avoid having allies or strategic partners at work. They may not be like social friends, but you must have collaborators. You must have people who can, like we normally say, learn to have a sponsor. I don't mean it in the Kenyan context. I mean it in the professional context, whereby you will have somebody who can support you at the boardroom. For example, there are several people who are supposed to be promoted, and we have few opportunities. There must be somebody senior who can push your agenda there. Remember, you could be of the same qualification, of the same competence. You must have somebody who can push your name. We call them sponsors. There's a book called Sponsors. I don't have, you can Google there, maybe, Jose, you can Google it for us, or Claire, you can Google it for us. It is called Sponsors. You can read it. It teaches you on how to have people who can support you in our, you cannot afford not to have friends. You cannot be a person who works in isolation. You have worked with other people, and you have got to be a person who builds bridges. You have got to build networks. Why do you think Uhuru was able to greet Raila? Why do you think our president has greeted? You have to build bridges. You have to build synergies. You have to, for you to survive in politics, in work, you have to relate with other, and you have got to analyze this person. What do I get? What is their character? All right. And if it is information, you have to be deliberate. You have to be strategic in the way you relate with people. Yes, you cannot survive at work without allies or friends. They may not be like social friends, but at work we need people who watch our back, because workplaces are places which are dynamic. There is power struggles, relationships can be tricky. So you need to check the character of the person you are checking to. Do a background check of those friends so that you can be able to know who you relate to at work. Before somebody becomes your friend, do a background check and manage your information, what you tell them. Yeah, but what I can tell you, you cannot survive with people at work. Wealth, development, progression comes from work. That watchman, that person who makes tea, they have got to know you. That secretary, that head of department, they have got to know you. Yeah, they have got to know you. You cannot be hostile to people you work with, can you? You've got to be friendly, but of course it's not the other friendliness, that social friendliness. It is work friend, camaraderie. I mean, it is something that you have to have for you to function. How will you work with other? Don't build a silo. If you build a silo, you will be able, and you will not be able to function. Calibrate, just see. It is unavoidable that you have to build relationships. The other question.
Okay, let me see if we have one more question.
Yes, don't build fortresses. You will be isolated. Nobody will recommend you to assignments, projects, if nobody knows you. People have got to know your strengths.
Okay, there's this one. How do you handle a feeling of maybe I shouldn't have said that or asked that in a meeting after? So I think this is basically self-doubt.
There are several reasons why you should regret saying what you have said. But before you say something, in public speaking, I tell people, research on your content. Consult on your content. Be evidence-driven. Be driven by statistics. Be driven by certain quotes that make sense, such that if somebody challenges your belief system, you will be able to prove. If you are not driven by evidence, if you are not driven by statistics, if you are not driven by facts, then you will have self-doubt. Then you will have issues of, and also it is important to know who you are in the boardroom. What are their prejudices? Learn the people you work with. Learn their prejudices, learn their stereotypes, learn their interests, learn their modus operandi. What do they want? So that you can be able to align your messaging according to certain facts, according to certain statistics, and according to the politics. Workplaces have got politics, so that you know what kind of politics you have to play. We have to play. I'm not talking about dirty politics. I'm talking about good politics, so that you can be able to know what to do. There are several books about office politics. I wish I could be able to get one from there. There are several books. You should be able to read books on office politics. They will be very important for you. Yes, don't offend the wrong person for age loss of power. You have to know what message you talk to somebody, what drives them, what motivates them. Because that is a way of building your career. That is being empathetic. Empathetic is knowing people and what to tell them. It is also a form of negotiation. Life is a negotiation. Yes. Another question?
I don't think we have any other question. Rosemary, I see I raised hand. Just go ahead and unmute.
Okay, thank you, Coaches Richard, for the insightful and all the participants. My takeaway on this session today, as I have listened how emotional intelligence affects leadership, can it be the same as the components that are can it be this related to the components of emotional intelligence? Because now the way you've advised us that self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy is listening empathetically, and the social skills. So there's a way that they relate, or how can you advise me?
Absolutely. You should be, and I wish Nelson had Osea had a present to give you. He should give you a present. You've nailed it. You've nailed it. Leadership is the collection of all components of emotion. Because if you list what makes a good leader, you will see good leaders are empathetic. Good leaders know how to self-regulate. Good leaders understand themselves. That is self-awareness. Good leaders are so energetic, are so enthusiastic. It is related to their ability to be highly motivated, their ability to give energy to the people they are leading, their ability to influence, their ability to communicate, their ability to have. Can you be a good leader if you don't have social skills? It is the entire house of emotional intelligence that will contribute to good leadership. So ask yourself, am I aware of myself? If you are called upon to do tests, which certain organizations do when they want to recruit somebody. You know, even CEOs these days, before they are hired, they do a lot of tests to understand the emotional intelligence. In fact, there are organizations where you cannot be hired if you do not do a psychological test. What are they doing? They want to understand how you relate with people. They want to understand how you communicate. They want to understand how you team build. You do team building. They want to understand how your energy is. Because a workplace is a pressure cook. If you do not have energy, if you do not have enough enthusiasm, ladies and gentlemen, how are you going to lead people? A leader must have a lot of energy. Ask yourself, what is the level of energy you are having as a leader? And a leader is not a seat, the one I'm sitting. A leader is decision making, a leader is communication, a leader is influence. And the social skills. Text me, Quinta, text me, use this number because we need to hear your texts so that I will respond to you. When you are going for team building, ladies and gentlemen, what you are doing is emotional intelligence. There is nothing else in team building. It is building your emotional intelligence, because when people initiate team building activities, they have seen people are working in silos. You know, working in silos means working in isolation. People do not know how to collaborate. People do not know how to synergize. People do not know how to collaborate. Team building is nothing other than exercises in emotional intelligence, leadership, how you communicate. You remember, if you attend Osea's team building, he will show you an exercise of how communication was distorted from one person to the other person. Okay, so leadership is about emotional intelligence. The soft skills, generally speaking. Quinta, you can text me and anybody who is interested. Any other question? Rosemary, have you understood?
Yes, coaches, thank you very much. Very insightful. I've learned a lot. You have oozed a lot of knowledge. Thank you.
I am an oozer. Thank you so much for your contribution, and God bless your Sabbath. Jose, if there's no question, my parting shot is don't leave emotional intelligence to chance, to luck. Have a coach about it, have a mentor about it, read PowerPoint, attend podcasts, research about emotional intelligence, and see your brand taking an upward trajectory. Be highly motivated, be empathetic, be self-aware, regulate your emotions, and you will see your brand become magnificent. Asanteni sana, merci beaucoup, mbiyamono, erokamano. God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. And that was very insightful. Let's give Richard a round of applause with the emojis. Yeah. Thank you very much, Richard. We appreciate the insights. As you can see, that was very insightful. So we've come to the end of the session. I don't know whether Miriam, you have a question.
Okay, Miriam.
Or you've raised your hand. Okay, I would imagine she was trying to use the clap emojis. So we've come to the end of the session. I've left a message on the chat. If you need to join our WhatsApp group, there is a link there to the WhatsApp group. Also, we have a link there for the feedback. Kindly leave us a feedback. You go rate the session, just give a rating, and then you can include what the rating is what is the rating all about. So if you give maybe a 4-star, 5-star, and then you can leave a description on how the session went. So kindly do that so that we can also know how to improve in the next one. If you have comments of what topics you would also want us to tackle, you can also leave it in the comment. So thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who has attended this session. It's been insightful, and we look forward to the next one. We'll communicate in the course of next week what our topic would be, depending on the feedback we get. Thank you very much, Richard, and we can call it a day.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Have a good weekend too, everyone.